Hello, 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 everybody. This is Melody and John again, coming here to talk to you about relationships and, in particular, the art of fighting in relationships. I hope you can join us from wherever you are. Hi, John.
Hi, Melody. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good as well. I'm fine. Thanks.
So,
Let me just try to share it with some of my networks, Melody, as we continue doing what we do every day. Look, you're looking so gorgeous again today, Melody. Um, I think every day you're getting younger.
oh, thank you. I love that. as
You
a
should.
as a woman who's not obsessed with whether she's getting old or not, I
Mhm.
love the fact that you're saying I look younger. But yeah,
Yes, you do,
it's
and I'm not just saying that for free. You've got to give us the secret
the
behind
secret is love
the.
yourself. Love yourself, and everything will be fine.
How easy is it to love yourself? You know, it's easy to say than doing.
Yes, it is. It's very tough, but if you continuously teach yourself to love yourself and
Hmm.
commit to loving yourself on a daily basis, you
Okay.
you start getting used to it. Like I'm always saying, I am self-love. I am self-love. I am self-love. Especially when I find myself sabotaging myself or doing things that don't save me or not, like not taking action. Like today I woke up, it was dark and gray, I wanted to exercise, and I was
Okay.
like, sure, let me wait, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. And then I thought, that's not self-love, is it? I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I only have
Yeah.
today, so let me
Yeah.
do it today. Yes.
Hmm. Exactly. So thanks for joining us again tonight, Melody, with great conversation that we always have as usual at Dreamers Club Bahrain. And tonight we are having another tough topic, if I may say. I don't know how tough it looks to you, but with you, Melody, you know, you always know how to chew these things. So it might not be looking so tough on your side, but for me, I feel it's a little bit tough, even though. Um, we are looking at, does fighting mean your relationship is in trouble? Should you avoid fighting at all? And how do you fight clean? A very interesting writing there from you, Melody. And I just want us to chew this. But before that, let the new listeners or viewers who are watching us tonight know who is Melody and what does she do and where is she coming from? Where are you sitting at right now? And what's your time from your end?
Okay. My name is Melody Chadamoyo. I am originally from Zimbabwe. I reside in Ireland, and I am a relationship love coach. I love to talk about relationships a lot. At this point, it's 4 minutes, 6 minutes past four. Sorry, 6 minutes past four in Dublin, Ireland. That's where I reside. And what else? I'm an author, a speaker, and all that stuff. But the
Hmm.
most important thing, I think, is I love relationships. I get them. I understand what's needed and what's not needed to have a successful relationship. So that's me.
Well, perfect as usual. Melody, short and sweet. They say that if you want it sweet, you have to make it short. If you want it great, you have to make it little. When things go much, they go beyond the taste that is expected of anything. So, Melody, we are here with this topic here, Melody. I guess it's gonna be tough to digest this, but when you're on the other side of the mic, things get easier. And I'll just go by first of all asking you. You see, when people hear of these words, fight, argument, the blood starts to get hot. The blood starts to boil. Like, oh, they had a fight. Oh, they were arguing. Oh, those couples every time they fight, those couples every time they have an argument, those couples every time they have to, one, two, three discussions and all that. But is there a way that these words could mean greatness in a relationship, Melody.
Yes, there is. But it's complicated because to love someone is to fight. There's no escape from fighting. Because imagine you are all born taken from different culture, like different home, different, most of the time, different culture, different language, sometimes different everything. You even have different genders, right? Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes even different genders. So you don't really get the other side. And if you are in a relationship and you don't fight, you are not really in that relationship. You don't really want to be there. You're not committed enough. That's what I would say.
I love that. I love how you're bringing that. Come on, go ahead. I'm
Because
listening. I'm all ears.
the whole purpose of relationships is to expand us. It is to grow us. It is to get us to expand our capacity for love. That's why we are in relationships in the first place. And we have Amisi Ba Oba from Kenya. He's your homeboy, maybe your homegirl. I don't know. They're listening. And
That's a
hi,
village
everyone.
mate.
Yes, who is here and you are with us. So it's important to fight because love is like you and I, right? We talk about love a lot. But I would tell you right now, you and your girlfriend, unless you have had a conversation, or fiance, you have had a conversation about it, you don't understand love the same way. Love means something different to her, and love means something different to you. Like I still remember when I was dating and people I've dated, that I would think, oh, I'm loving them so much, but they wouldn't think that was love. They would think it's something else, which is like, why would you think that when I'm loving you so much and I'm thinking I'm loving you, and my intentions are loving, and yet you get upset, and yet you get angry. So fighting is important because usually if I'm doing something that I'm loving you, I'm showing you I love you, and yet you feel I am offending you in some way, then we need to rewind and start talking about, so what makes you feel loved that I can do? How can I be the best version of myself in your eyes? And how can I give you the best of me? And how can you give me the best of you? And you can only do that by this dance that you do back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, that I'm always saying. But you also have to be looking inside. Your commitment always is to you, to loving yourself. When we started talking, I talked about self-love a lot. In order for you to love anybody, you need to love yourself first. Because when you love yourself first, you are going to have conflict with yourself, right? When change comes into your life, we all hate change. We're going to fight against it. If you learn to fight change in your own life, in your personal life, by yourself, like I started gaining weight and I didn't want weight, right? And then I said, okay, I need to go and exercise some more than I used to. But then I didn't want to exercise. It's too much work, But then I have to say, I have to choose. Exercising is good for me. It's showing me that I love myself. And so I'm going to take it now to relationships. So when I am in myself, allowing myself to be happy, to be joyous, to enjoy pleasure, right? I also then have to welcome you and allowing you to be joyful, to be happy, to enjoy pleasure as much as possible, which means I need to listen to you. I need to pay attention to you to see what gives you pleasure, what makes you happy, what makes you joyous. And I do everything I can to allow you to get that out of life. And it is only when you're not getting that out of life that we have a conflict, that we start fighting. And usually when you are fighting, the most to the basic bonds of fighting is, I don't think you love me. and the person is thinking he doesn't love me and I'm not lovable. And then we start fighting again because, like, how can
You
you
know,
think I'm
I
not lovable?
love that melody. I
Yeah.
love what you just said. When these fights come in, the basic or the basis of conversation in your mind or the other side's mind is like, they don't love me. And maybe I'm not lovable. Maybe there's something that I'm doing that is not right. So this is where I'm heading you to now. Like, how are we gonna create that kind of a mindset for people to understand that fighting is part of relationship, and in fact, couples who fight most of the times get to know each other more because there's nothing to hide, and couple who argue every time or most often, let me not talk about every time, but most often, they tend to agree to each other more than those who don't.
With a caveat. So there is fighting and there's fighting, right?
Yeah.
There's fighting when you are trying to get to a understanding where you want to be heard, to be loved, to be accepted as you. And then there's bringing the worst out of each other, where you are using bad language, you're assassinating each other, you're crushing each other emotionally. That's not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That is not healthy fighting. You shouldn't do that. And if you're in a relationship where that's what you need to do in order to feel you have been heard, you need to reassess. I'm not saying leave each other, but you need to go and reassess the way you communicate with each other. Because you can fight clean. You have to understand, as a couple, when you have this thing that you have between you, I always think there's John, there's Melody, or yeah, there's John, there's Melody, and then there's something between us.
Mm-hmm.
For you and me, we are friends, we are colleagues, we have this thing, and this thing that we have between us, we grow it by communicating, by talking, by whatever it is that we are doing. In a relationship, you also have this thing between you, and that thing that you have between you is sacred, right? You feed it with love and attention and patience and kindness and compassion and all those other juicy good things. And when you start feeling separated from each other, it means either you are not feeling love with yourself. Most of the time, if you pay attention, you feel like you're disconnected. You are the one who is disconnected from yourself. Because you're never disconnected from another person. It's you who has to work on yourself. So when you are feeling that this person is not loving me, or this thing that we have is not okay anymore, you have to then start looking at, I want this thing, this problem that we have is not his problem, is not her problem, it's our problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We have this disagreement and it's like working against us loving each other. So what do we do about that? It's not a war. It's not like we're adversaries. We are not coming with guns blazing saying, I'm right, and there's nobody who's right. And a fight whereby one loses, no matter how right you are, every time one of you loses, you both lose.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good one, Melody. And I love that word also. Like, if there's a fight, there's fighting and there's fighting as well. So there's fighting to stain somebody, fighting to screw into the history or the past, fighting to wanting to be the winner, just like you've said. But there's fighting where somebody has to argue her point out. We are fighting to understand what's happening or to find out what the problem is instead of finding out who is the problem. You know, the biggest mistake between couples, and I date, and that's why I know, and sometimes we get into a heated debate, and my fiance will tell you that once it gets heated up, what I do is I mum and I cool down. I'm the one who cools down first. And the question I always ask is, are we looking for who is wrong here, or are we looking for what is wrong?
You're always looking for what is wrong.
what is wrong.
You are
Because
also
when you look
looking at,
for who,
yeah,
because if you look for who, every person, remember, even a killer will buy a lawyer to go and defend them in court. And they know very well that they used their knives, their guns, and shot somebody and killed. But still, they're buying a lawyer to go protect them. So when you start fighting or arguing to know who is wrong or who's right, then things are going to get wrong. But when you start talking and arguing a point to know what is wrong and how can we make it right, then things get right on track. Melody.
Hmm. We have a deep understanding of wanting to be understood and to be accepted. That's what we fight for. So sometimes you do, my husband would do something and I would think, he's not respecting me. So I need to make him respect me, right? Instead of saying, okay, I feel disrespected. His intentions were not really to disrespect me. He thought he was doing the right thing. And then he messed it all up by saying that. And that he said, he might have said it wrongly, but it doesn't mean he is wrong. And as long as you understand that the way he said it, the way he delivered it, the way it came out of his mouth was not an intention to harm you, you will be 10 times better than most couples. And I repeated myself because I've said this before in this conversation, because it's so important, because that's where we all get tripped up. This is the case with every human being you're going to meet. Even those people who seem like they're intentionally coming at you, wanting to harm you. You can still take the same stance and say, okay, this person is not for me. Let me remove myself, instead of I'm standing here to prove I am right. Yeah, yes, you're right. But what's the cost of you being right? Hi, Jenny and Nelta. How are you? Thank you for joining. And if everyone has comments and questions, we welcome them. Right, John? Now, today I'm hosting and I'm answering at the same time.
Yes. Yes, I also see. There's also Brain of State who's just joined us right now, and there's this guy that you read his name like an English woman, but I want to bring you back to be an African.
Okay.
This is read as Amisi Bar Ober. It's not Ba Oba.
Okay. Oh, brr. Okay. No. We don't have names like that in Zimbabwe. We would never have names that end without a vowel, ever.
Yeah.
Like everything has a vowel where I come from.
Absolutely. So
Yes.
he's watching from Kenya and also participating in this conversation, Melody. Let me take you again to this question, Melody. How do we make the fight clean? We are talking about not digging into the past. We're talking about not wanting to be heard, but wanting to be understood. So how do we make it clean when we have a person, like, for example, men? I'm one of them. I did one video on TikTok, and I have a full video of it I'm posting tomorrow on YouTube about fighting and argument in relationship. And a guy just asked me through a DM that I always try to argue with my BF, but he doesn't seem to understand it. So what I always do when I get these questions, I can't answer them myself. I have to dig into questioning people, trying to Google search and also read some books. So I just posted a short video, and this video was talking about fights. So I said that a woman who is truly in love will always fight and argue with you. And within 2 days, this video was having over 300,000 views and over 600 comments. And the comments that were coming from women, 90% of women were saying that is exactly true. Because a woman, when we are done as a woman, we will never fight.
We don't
will never argue.
Yeah.
But when I was reading comments from men, I kind of felt like men were like, no, I can't take that. A woman who's fighting every time, who's arguing most often, I can't take that. So from that, I came into realization that we men might not understand you women, and you as a woman, Melody, it would be good for you to explain to us how clean is it, and how can we understand that yes, you're fighting not to win, not to overpower me or overthrow me in the house, but you're fighting for me to understand that there's something wrong, not you, not me, but there is something in between us that's wrong, and that's
That I'm
why.
feeling,
Mhm,
I am feeling hurt and I'm feeling unloved right
mhm,
now. And I would add, I'm feeling unsafe.
mhm,
Because if I feel unsafe, I have to claim my safety somehow. So when I come to you saying, why did you do that? I'm
mhm,
actually saying, what you did makes me feel unloved and unsafe. Because for women, love and safety kind of go together.
mhm,
What you've just done to me makes me feel unloved and unsafe. And it's the most scary thing for a woman.
mhm.
So I will fight to the death because I want to reclaim my safety. Because what's the most basic need for a human being?
Mhm.
Safe, right? We all want to be safe.
You have to be
So
safe
if
first.
I don't feel safe, how can I exist in the world? That's the shortest answer I can give. I could talk about it some more, but that's it right there, basically.
So it's about I'm getting one point there that the first thing is safety and security of yourself. So you have to be safe there.
Yeah.
And is it natural that women tend to see these problems faster than men, or is it just a tendency that men wants to have that ego and not complain sometimes, and they tend to say that, oh, women do fight but we don't fight? And is it okay for men to also healthily fight and healthily argue?
Men don't communicate well. That is the problem. It's not that they don't fight.
Mhm.
A man can fight you without a single word. A single word being said.
That's
Yes,
John.
women fight with words. Most of what we say, what we want, what we needed is said with words, not action. If you see a woman giving you the silent treatment, it means she has tried at least 3 times to tell you that things are not working out and you are ignoring her or you are telling her she is imagining it, which is something because men forget something very important. A woman's intuition is like 3 times as powerful as a man's intuition. So when things are going on with you, no, backtrack, Melody.
Mhm.
There's a woman's intuition is 3 times higher than you. One. Two, we are there to please you. Our safety, our existence is
Mhm.
guaranteed only when you are happy. Right? This is from genetics and evolution and those going back to hunter-gatherer mode. Because we can only guarantee that you're not going to attack us physically when you
Mm.
seem like you're happy. So I'll give you a scenario. You are sad because your boss at work is abusing you. You come home, you have that energy of feeling unhappy. And
Mhm.
I sense that you're feeling unhappy.
Mhm.
And what do I think? I will think, because I want to please you, that I am responsible for the fact that you are unhappy. So I will say, John, what's wrong, darling? You are unhappy. But what I'm saying is, you are not happy with me. And then if you say nothing is wrong, but I can sense that something is wrong, I will say, oh, you don't want to tell me, which means you don't care about me. Because if you cared about me, you would tell me what's wrong so that I can fix it for you, so that you will be happy again, so that I will feel safe.
You got
That,
me, Melody. You got
yeah,
me.
yeah,
100% you got me. It's
yeah.
happened more than 100 times. Exactly the way you're explaining it.
Yeah. So what men need to understand is when you have other stuff that's going on in your life. When your woman comes to you and they say, I have this other stuff, they come to you and they say, what's wrong? What's going on? What's up? Are you up to something? Are you doing something? You don't love me anymore? All you need to say is, honey, there's something going on at work. I am dealing with it, but at the moment, it's really tough for me. My husband, Taura, used to say, I have a program I'm writing. I'm stuck on something. I need to figure it out. I haven't figured it out yet, but I'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. And I say, okay, fine. So it's not me. What can I do? I'll give you whatever you need, right? I'll give you everything you need to make sure I'm being supportive.
Yeah.
I'll cook you chicken if you want chicken. I will do everything I can physically to make sure you are not worried about anything else except this problem that you have. And fortunately for me, when he solved it, you know what he used to say? Yes, it's done. I'm fixed. And he used to, like, he was one of those slow thinkers who think even when they're doing other things. He would, in the middle of the night, when we are sleeping, or I think we are sleeping, he would wake up and say, yes, I get it now. I have it fixed. And I would be like, what are you shouting about? It's in the middle of the night. Shut up. And he said, no, honey, I got it. The problem is solved. And I said, oh, thank God. And then we move on. So men need to understand that.
Communication is a big issue. It is.
Yeah.
Personally, I would say yes, because I don't know, some other men will say no, but personally, I would say yes, because I'm telling you that 100% you got me. Sometimes I get out of work with some stress, a lot of things to do. Not even stress that the employer or maybe a manager is stressing you, but just the work itself. There's a lot of assignments to do. There's so much to do. Sometimes you're ordering things, they're not coming right, and everything is just distorted. You're like, so how am I gonna do this? So you get home, and the first thing you see maybe is a call, and this call comes from her, and then she's like, hi. And women know your tone, even however much you will pretend that everything is fine, but from the way you'll just say hello, they'll know there's something.
I know. It doesn't matter who it is. The moment I say hello, I say what's wrong. Like,
exactly.
Your tone will tell me.
Yeah.
Men don't get that because you are not created that way. Yeah.
That's always the question. Hi, honey, what's wrong? And
yes.
Melody, I told you that I'm always a fighter. So I'll try to, fight it alone. So I'll be like, no, nothing, everything is fine. Like, but you don't sound fine. No, don't mind it. And that's where the fight starts.
But then
you mad at me?
Yes, it starts the fight. Yes. Yeah. Because now I'm thinking.
And you're like, what? What do you mean I'm mad at you? Why are you thinking of that? But why can't you tell me why you're not happy this evening? Don't mind it. So you got me, and it's absolutely true that we are poor communicators, especially when it comes to troubles that come outside the relationship. Especially, I realize that most often what brings these issues, most of the issues in relationship are not even the couples themselves. They are things that are happening out of the relationship, out of the marriage, out of the house, out of the site. You just carry it over into the house, and then boom, everybody goes fire.
We need to remember a few things. One of them is that fighting can bring you closer together if you learn how to communicate properly. That's one thing, of which I'm always teaching people how to communicate. And also, challenges and triumphs create intimacy and mutual respect. So if you share a challenge and you succeed, you start to respect each other more, and you get more intimate with each other. Like, you've noticed that sometimes, like, I remember once Taura and I were traveling some part of the country we didn't know, and we got lost, and we spent the night in a funny place. And we used to laugh about it because we would say, oh my God, you remember? But one of the things I remembered most was how much he was protecting me. Like he was there. He was my God. I slept. He didn't sleep at all. He was looking after me. He was looking after our bags. And like it's those kind of things that made me think this man really loves me. It's like when you share those things with a person, that's when you really realize what's going on. So you need to understand when you're fighting, even when we're fighting about what's happening at your job, you
Mhm.
can still see that she is loving you. She's doing it because she cares so much. And instead of brushing it aside and so women and their drama, indulge her. Be loving to her by just saying, you know what, this is what's going on. Because then she will know it's not her. She didn't do anything wrong and it's okay. John, one of the most heartbreaking situations of my life was I
Mhm.
discovered, because I started really getting deep into this relationship work after my husband passed away. I did it when I was with him, but I got deeper and deeper into it the more, afterwards. And one
Mhm.
of the discoveries I made was that my husband went through a depression time, and I didn't know that, and instead I was fighting him with him all the time because I thought he didn't love me anymore. That's so heartbreaking for me,
It is.
because if I had known, I would have supported him the way he needed support. Instead, I was causing even more angst to him because I had no idea. I
I'm
forgive
telling
I,
you to
yeah.
today you're totally getting it right, Melody. And practically I can feel and I can follow what you're talking about.
Hmm.
Mm.
So some of the things that people can do when they're fighting is, when you discover that you are fighting, you need to remember one thing: this person loves you. They chose you. They are with you because they love you. And whatever is happening because they are trying to figure something out, or you are trying to figure something out. They are not the enemy. You are not the enemy. There's something else that's going on that you need to figure out. Communicate as much as you can with yourself and with each other. And maintain physical contact. So I'm going to tell you a trick that is so important, that when you start fighting, take each other's hands. I know most of the time when you start fighting, people go, don't touch me. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do the opposite of that. Hold each other's
Touch me.
hands.
Uh,
Yes, hold each other's hands. Or better still, you can go and touch each other's backs, like the back, and you can massage the back, or you can along the spine, you can put your fingers, your thumbs. You see my thumbs? Where is the other thumb? I don't know. Where is the? Oh, there it is. You can, along with your thumbs, you can go along the spine from top to bottom, and that releases the stress from your body so
mhm.
much that you have this space to actually talk about what's really going on in your relationship.
Wow.
Yeah. And if you
Thank
can't
you
do
for
that, if that seems too much, take off your clothes and just start having a fight while you're naked and see how far you go.
I think that's my bonus. That's my bonus in the video that I just made. I gave it a bonus, and exactly that's what I said because it works magic.
Mm,
I've never seen a man, unless he's a man who's got a very very strong heart like a rock, beating a woman that he loves while naked. They
yeah.
can never. Once that tones them down.
Yes. Yeah.
It does. And there's something that you've touched, Melody, that I want to talk about as well before we get into the second one, or you bring us that. Um, I think this generation should understand this, and you said it, that hard times, difficulties, and bad days in relationship gives you a real understanding of a man or a woman that you are that you're loving at that time. Good times, if everything is flowing, that honey, I need a dress, and dress comes. Honey, can we go to the movie? And the movie comes. Honey, I saw something so great. You will never ever know who exactly these people are until when the hard times rocks. That's when you can know whether you're loved or not. That's when you can know whether you can get that dress or not. When it's hard times. Let's go on, Melody.
Yes, you're so right, John. It's like relationships expand. We as human beings, we learn from conflict. We learn when things get difficult. We learn even our own strength from when things go hard. Like if you had asked me, I used to say this, even my mother said it. If your husband ever leaves you, you are going to have a breakdown and you're going to kill yourself, right? I know that's not true now because I have survived his death. I have worked so hard. It was not easy. I will tell you right now, it was not easy. But I worked so hard to recover from the trauma of losing him that I know now that I'm a strong person. So how did I know my husband loved me was there were several things that happened. One of them is the most difficult one of them all. I couldn't carry a child. I could conceive. I got pregnant and I kept having miscarriages. And that was the most traumatic, like one of the most traumatic experiences of my life was losing my babies. Losing my babies at 9 weeks or 12 weeks or whatever. It's for women who have gone through it, it's like you are losing part of yourself every time. And this happened 4 times. So much that I even say to myself, you know, I love this guy. I want him to have children. Because we had spoken about the fact that we wanted kids. I knew he wanted kids. And I didn't want him to go through life without children. And I thought, okay, what's the most loving thing I can do for him? For me, it was to leave him and allow him to find someone else who would be able to carry a child for him, right? That's how my brain works, by the way. And he looked at me when I said it, and he said, no, that's not what I want. I don't want a baby with someone else. If I can't have children with you, then I don't want them. And that is, to me, that was his testimony. Was his testament. Because I also know so many women who were dumped by their men because they couldn't have kids. So many of them. So I knew that, like, of all the I love yous that he ever told me, that was I love you with a big L, a big O, a big V, and a big E, like covering the whole world for me. I'm getting goosebumps right now, even saying it, because even today, it still humbles me.
Exactly.
Olga says it's good to be back, guys. Note I said people think, I don't know what that word is. Show their
He
true
says
colors.
some people though,
Yeah, okay.
I think
Yeah.
that's what she wanted to say here. Shows their true colors when they have abundance by how they treat others with less attitude towards others and seeing them as less than they are. Okay. Olga, happy to see you. Hope you're doing
Yes.
good.
Yeah. So that's life. When things get difficult, that's when you know who your friends are. That's when who you know the person you chose is the person you are supposed to be with, because they will show you something else. Some leave, some walk away.
Yes. It is something that we especially us that are still young and looking forward to having a good future, and those who are listening also to me, I would like to tell you that through experience you can learn a lot. And something that I've also come to realize, Melody, this generation, I think we have been brainwashed so much to always look at things that we feel are successful than those that we think that are failure, like those who never reached a certain target that society puts as the definition of success. We can never seek wisdom from them. We can never seek expansion from them. For example, children or pupils or students in class, you're only happy when you become a topper of that class. Every parent is only happy when their kids get the top position. But the question is, what about others? Why must we only be happy when others fail? That trails into our heads. We grow with it that we always have to be at the top. Others have to fail for us to succeed in life. But it doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't. And actually, we do better when we all succeed. We
Exactly.
feel better because it's better to have, like, when you take your friends out for dinner and you're all sitting at the table and we're all eating together and you're
Together.
laughing, and
Yes. As
you
a
feel good
community.
when you do that, right? But if you're just going out for dinner by yourself because your friends can't afford to go, then it's not fun.
Mm. It's not
It's not.
fun. It's not at
Yeah.
all. At all. At all. It is something that I think we have to readjust and come back to terms with, that growth only happens when you pull others up. Because even in a family, if you are the only one who's blessed, that whole family gets to pull you every time. Because if anything happens, you are the one who's providing, you're the one who takes responsibility of all the bills. But when you pull each other together and you're succeeding as a family together in the house, you find out that, oh, you will take care of the electricity and water, you'll take care of the food, you'll take care of the house rent, you'll take care of the school fees. You know, there's a division of responsibilities, but when only one is succeeding, it becomes so tough. And the
I
same
think
goes to the community. Yes, Melody.
I think people need to learn to take responsibility for
Mhm,
themselves and
mhm,
allow other people to take responsibility as well for their own lives. We have a
mhm.
tendency of telling people what's wrong with their lives. I
Yeah.
know I've heard people say, like, you could be doing this or you could be doing that and you could be doing that. Everyone has got a path to walk. One of
Mhm,
the discoveries I've made by
mhm,
accident is that if you allow a person to the space to figure themselves out and take responsibility for their life, they will amaze you with their amazingness. They will do such amazing things if we don't go around calling them names and judging them by
mhm,
our standard. Because what I am going through, what I'm learning, what I'm encompassing is for me. It's not for you, it's not for anyone else. People get more encouragement when they look at me and see what I'm doing and say, if she can do it, I could try it and do it too. Maybe they would even do it better than me, right?
mhm,
But if
mhm,
I go to you and I come to you and those people and I say, you know what's wrong with you? You don't try hard enough. You are so lazy. Words that we say are so powerful. That we say, that we think in our heads, that we tell ourselves or tell other people are so powerful.
mhm.
If you want to see yourself doing great, think amazing things. Take responsibility for everything that happens in your life. Even those people that come and they are harming you because they don't have anything good to give you. But don't make it your thing. Let them
Mm.
go with their
Yeah,
craziness. And you take your own goodwill and well being and be with those that love you. Find your own tribe.
I love that. Let
Mm.
them go and be with those who love you. Very powerful word there, Melody. I don't know. I feel like we've chewed everything. I don't know what you're still having in your cup. But on my side, I think what exactly we wanted to bring out in terms of fighting and argument in relationship is out there, and everybody can listen and understand that we are summing up this by agreeing together, Melody, me and you. This is John and Melody agreeing, and with those who are viewing us here, that fightings and argument is the best way to understand your relationship better.
Yes. I have something else I wanted to add, though.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about uncovering each other's shadows and loving it, our weaknesses, or those things that are not so pretty when we put them out there, like the tendency to be late for everything, or the tendency to take forever to make decisions, or whatever it is that people find is a problem with the spouse, that we need to stop judging each other because of those things that people or other people are saying are problems. You can
Mm-hmm.
still love that person's shadows. You can still, and it's good to find them out too. It's good to say, if you're dating, those who are dating, find out those yucky things that the person doesn't even want to talk about and look
Yeah.
at them and put light on them. Because when you put light on them, and this is this person, this is who they are, light and dark, because both we have both sides. They are choosing light, but they still have this dark side, right? But I will love them anyway. I don't expect them to be perfect. You see, most of the problems we have is we have an expectation that human beings have to be perfect. That is why we hide our weaknesses from each other. That is why we pretend we are not selfish. We're not selfish. We are not going to grab a piece of meat out of your plate. We do it with our siblings, but we'll never do that with you because we don't want you to find out. But if other people find out, you take ownership of that. Not only do you take ownership of that, you put light on it. You start to look at yourself differently. You start to have expectations that are different. And once you have expectations that are different from yourself, you are going to be able to make room to receive those other people with their own shadows and love them fully. And doesn't that make the world a better place?
It does. It really does. I really just don't know how to support your point, Melody, because if I'll talk much, I'll be diluting it. I think you said it like it is supposed to be said, and those who have got ears can listen to it and can take this home. It's a great conversation that we had this evening, Melody. And I'm always learning so much things from you. And as you can see, I've really, really, really grown since we met. I've really, really, really grown, Melody. I have to give that for you and for the beautiful work that you're doing. Just telling those people who are watching, there's something you guys are missing here that is so free of charge. As they say that most of us black men, and especially from Africa, we tend to not take much into coaching for things like relationships. People just get into relationship and they just date, they fight and they break up and they get into another one. They fight and they break up, they get into another one, and life continues like it's normal. But when you find out that there's a time that you need to get somebody who can coach you, and getting back to my words, a person who has to coach you is not necessarily a person that the society crowns as successful. Somebody would have been crowned a failure, but the best way to learn is learning through other people's mistakes. You don't learn to avoid those mistakes, but you learn to understand how you can get answers when such kind of temptations and times come along your path of success. I have not much to say, Melody. I'll leave it for you to finalize it so we can close it for tonight.
Thank you so much, John. It's been amazing. I appreciate your support and your help. And I'm so proud that you've grown. I've had some influence on your life because I'm just always talking, as you know. And just to say, if people feel they want to explore this topic more, or you've been fighting and you don't know how to stop, I can help you. You can book an appointment with me, a free appointment with me, and we can explore and come up with a plan of how to make your lives, if you're fighting, at least you fight with a goal and an achievement at the end, and you don't just end with the yuckiness of the fight. That doesn't serve you in any way. Because when you fight, at least you should get the beauty of the learning, right? And the love and the connection that you were looking to get. And yeah, so that's all I have to say. Nota says, and when you see a person as they are and love them, even when you fight, it will be with a different intention from that of wanting to be right or to have the last word. Oh, thank you, Nota. She really got me there.
Yeah, she did. I have to say, Melody, that out of all the conversations we've had, this was too lively and, hitting 100% at how it happens directly. It wasn't just like an example, but it was getting me red on. Like exactly what happens. Your word was just like I'm picturing and seeing it happening, So that's why I always love these conversations where we don't even prepare. We just come on the pictures and the cameras, and we're just talking without even, we didn't talk about what we're going to do. We just settled on a topic, and then we get going, and it comes out naturally without being planned. So as we leave, let me just tell those who are still viewing that this same topic, tomorrow I'm uploading a video on YouTube, but I'm going to discuss it. The video that I did is how important it is to fight, and how what you can avoid when you're fighting to help you have a healthy fight in relationship. It was good having you, Melody, and hope to see you here after 2 weeks. Pass my regards to Nelta, Olga, and everyone who's home tonight. And those who are viewing us, it's great for you guys. Your support has been making us to come every week. And right now we are doing it's called bi-weekly, right?
Yes, it's called bi-weekly.
Yeah. You got exactly
Yeah.
what you needed, John. You are ready. That's awesome. Thank you, Nelta. Exactly. It was fun to have Melody on the other side of the studio. See you again after 2
Bye,
weeks,
John.
right
Take care.
here. Take care, Melody.
Bye,
Bye bye.
everyone.